Phil Spencer is dead serious about buying Nintendo. In fact, he sent out some interesting emails. As you all know, there are some interesting leaks going on right now about Xbox and their future lineup plans and things like that. This is pretty incredible to say the least. And I have to be honest, it's very interesting to look through all of these things and kind of see what their plans are for the future. This is especially fun to do because so many people claimed that Xbox would be out of the business. They were getting out of the hardware business. And now it's pretty clear and pretty evident that that's not the case at all. Now, what's funny about this isn't the first time that Microsoft had wanted to go after Nintendo. No, not at all. But actually, Nintendo laughed them out of the room back in the day when the original Xbox team was trying to do that. So it's funny to me that this has kind of come full circle yet again. The other thing that I kind of wanted to point out is that this was prior to the ZeniMax buyout. So I want to get into it. This is according to Phil Spencer, who was targeting a Nintendo acquisition in 2020, according to leaked emails. In unredacted court documents published overnight, seemingly in error, Phil Spencer discusses the potential Nintendo acquisition in an email conversation with Microsoft's Executive Vice President and Chief Commercial Officer, Takashi Nomoto. While discussing a potential TikTok acquisition, Nomoto asked why Microsoft wasn't pursuing a company like Nintendo instead. And Phil replied that this was exactly what he wanted. Takashi, I totally agree with that Nintendo is the prime asset for us in gaming, and today, gaming is our most likely path to consumer relevance. I've had numerous conversations with Nintendo about tighter collaboration and feel like if any US company would have a chance with Nintendo, we are probably in the best position. The unfortunate, or fortunate for Nintendo situation, is that Nintendo is sitting on a big pile of cash. They have a board of directors that until recently has not pushed for further increases in market growth or stock appreciation. Spencer actually did continue to go on and say that former Microsoft board member Mason Morfitt, president of ValueAct, had been heavily acquiring shares of Nintendo and that this could create opportunities for Microsoft. Phil also suggested that he believes Nintendo's future exists off their own hardware, but claimed it was taking a long time for the company to see that. Without the catalyst, I don't see an angle to a near-term mutually agreeable merger of Nintendo and Microsoft, he explained, and I don't think a hostile action would be a good move. So we're playing the long game, but our board of directors has seen the full write-up of Nintendo and Valve, and they are fully supportive of either if opportunity arises, as am I. Spencer concluded at some point, getting Nintendo would be a career moment, and I honestly believe a good move for both companies. It's just taken a long time for Nintendo to see that their future exists off their own hardware. A long time. The discussion took place around a year and a half before Microsoft announced its intention to acquire Activision Blizzard. Of course, it's not the first time Microsoft has considered acquiring Nintendo. According to a 2021 report exploring the origins of Microsoft's console business, Nintendo laughed their asses off when approached by Microsoft regarding a possible buyout 20 years ago. The first company we reached out to buy was EA, they said, and no thanks. And then Nintendo, recalled Microsoft's then head of business development, Bob McBreen, in an interview with Bloomberg. Steve made us go up and meet Nintendo to see if they consider being acquired, added Kevin Bacchus, Xbox's then director of third-party relations. They just laughed their asses off. Like, imagine an hour of somebody just laughing at you. That was kind of how the meeting went. Microsoft's proposed acquisition of Activision Blizzard has been heavily scrutinized by regulators around the world amid concerns that antitrust issues during a long time of increasing consolidation in the gaming industry is taking place. Microsoft has explored the possibility of acquiring many companies in recent years, including Sega, Bungie, IO Interactive, and Microsoft's head of gaming has said that the company is open to make further acquisitions as it looks to turn Xbox into a major player in the industry. Now, what's interesting here is, so it doesn't look like, I mean, maybe they are playing the long game with this because it doesn't seem like, they're going to be able to go out and do this anytime soon, but you can see why they are after this. I mean, they are probably looking at the big picture, like, hey, if we were to buy Nintendo, we could sell, Nintendo stuff on PC, we could sell Nintendo stuff on Xbox. Like, I don't know, like, to me, that would probably ruin Nintendo. I'm not really sure exactly. Like, to me, Nintendo is always, I'm not even a huge Nintendo fan. Like, I grew up with Nintendo, and they always have a place for me, but they are so stuck in the past that it's something that I just can't really get next to. And so it's kind of unfortunate to me, to be honest with you, that this is sort of happening the way that it is. But it is, and it's just interesting to see all these behind the scene things that we weren't really supposed to have our eyes kind of set on. This was never for us to look at, never for us to see, never for us to do any of that stuff. So it's very interesting to see how everybody is kind of thinking and talking about things behind the scenes. And at the same time, it's one of those things where I'm kind of looking at this and going, it's crazy to think that Microsoft could potentially pick up Nintendo. Now with the Activision stuff, I sincerely doubt that they could ever pick up Nintendo, but it's still fantastically interesting to look at this and go, hey, you know what? This is crazy to see all this hoopla that's going on right now. So yeah, for me personally, what I get out of all these leaks and all this kind of stuff is the fact that Sony is not prepared for the future the way that Microsoft is, and it's just super interesting to see that Microsoft is kind of in it for the long term, as far as I can tell. That's the exciting part. Like back with the Xbox One days, this is something that honestly kind of crazy as far as I can tell. It is sort of crazy to see, but again, this is pretty interesting stuff, that Phil sees them as like the ultimate thing. I think, like I said, it's probably better off that they don't. And listen, that's coming from a huge Xbox fan, right? I honestly think that that's something that us as fans have to look at and go, hey, what's going on here in the future? Is that something that can happen? I would hope that it kind of doesn't happen. Like I said, because Nintendo does their own thing. I like that Nintendo is doing their own thing, even if it doesn't interest me, because they don't have a robust online, and and they also don't have like an achievement system or anything like that. So hopefully they can work on something like that and get something like that done, and that's the plan. But what's your thoughts and take on Phil looking at the Nintendo acquisition as the ultimate thing? I would love to hear everybody's thoughts and opinions on this, because to me, it's just so interesting to see, even 20 years later, that would be something, So yeah, crazy day. So many leaks. I plan on trying to cover as many as I can. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you all have a fantastic day. If you're new to the channel, please continue to watch, subscribe, all that kind of good stuff. Hit the like button. Thanks for watching. Rack 'em up, fact 'em up, and as always, Crap Gamer 'em up. Crap Gamer out.